people.
Well, we've got to do more than that. We've got to start lobbying and demanding to now every association that every elected person from the school board to the police chief, right up the ladder, what they've given allegiance to, and that must be made public. If they're going to be put in positions where they can rule over us and do incredible things to us, you better find out who they really are.
We got lethal nerve gases, sheeple, we herd masses. Fuck what you heard, people, we evil, disturbed bastards. Chemical trails, just one type of eugenics. My microwave guns make civilians walking antennas. Until we see the majority suffer horribly, we'll give authority to retarded people inaudibly. Corrupted on purpose and take it over quarterly. It's gotta get chaotic before we can make it orderly. You must submit some liberties in these drastic conditions. We working on super solutions with mathematicians. Legally, we must essentially ask your permission, but you'll accept the tyranny like a basket of kittens. You've all been classified officially as useless eaters, and unfortunately, we just don't have the food to feed you. Consequently, we've been working on some new diseases, mandatory vaccinations, even Tamiflu for Jesus. Once you let me open up your door, liberties you knew will be no more. Yes, you may refuse, but are you sure? 'Cause eventually it will be law. The middle class is a tool to be used to administer policies a lot of people might see as sinister. Imperial plans demand lamb sacrificial to bleed the center and expand the perimeter. Sheeple are chuckling, but it ain't that funny. They paid for their destruction with their own tax money. Some citizens are gonna be a little bit upset with them. What the fuck you think they building these camps for? Mexicans? They're expecting 30 years of insurrection from Americans. That's the reason they disarming her veterans. They took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution. The enemy's domestic, see from Washington to Houston. If you've been unable to see the bigger picture, you probably think the evil Islamo-fascists are gonna get you. Somebody hates your freedoms, that's the part that's right, and they're working to take them away every day and night. Won't you let me open up your door? Liberties you knew will be no more. Yes, you may refuse, but are you sure? 'Cause eventually it will be law.
gotta stand up for the future.
know it's hard sometimes, there's so many sheep out there. You just want to give up because it seems futile. But fuck it.
I sit back and take a look at this fucked up world around me. What do I see? Nothing but hopeless insanity, tragedy, vanity, seeking zombies, running in circles just to please the queen bee, jumping hurdle to hurdle with the eyes of a blind man and the mouth of a mute, living here and impaired when it comes to the truth. They just sit there and stare like I'm missing a tooth, like I'm missing a screw, or I got something loose. Man, I'm losing my mind. Maybe I'm the one that's fucked up, stuck out of luck. I should've never woke up. You know I'd hit self-destruct if I could swallow my pride. If I go back to sleep, I'd hang myself with my tie. So I'm gripping this mic and fighting this fight, exposing the darkness just to save my own life. Go on and say what you like, cause I really don't give a fuck. Give a fuck, give a fuck, give a fuck. Now every time I come around they wanna see me fall, wanna see me crawl on my knees like Saul. And every time I come around they wanna see me cry, wanna see me die, crucified like Christ. Now every time I come around they wanna see me fall, wanna see me crawl on my knees like Saul. And every time I come around they wanna see me die, crucified like Christ, seeing through sheep's eyes. Every time I step up I'm taking 2 steps back, and in fact I sink from gray to the darkest of black. I won't lead you astray, I'll just show you the facts, but they might lead you to stress, death and heart attacks. So you hate me and curse me, rave and traverse me, ignore every verse and use the chorus against me. With logic perverse, you grow to detest me, test me and drain me till I'm running on empty. My soul drenched in darkness from fighting the heartless. My tactics turn ruthless when engaging the truthless. God damn my fate, becoming everything I hate, everything I hate, everything I hate, everything I hate.
We are rapidly approaching a moment of truth, both for ourselves as human beings and for the life of our nation. Now, truth is not always a pleasant thing, but it is necessary now to make a choice, to choose between 2 admittedly regrettable, but nevertheless distinguishable post-war environments. One where you got 20 million people killed, and the other where you got 150 million people killed. Mr. President, I'm not saying we wouldn't get our hair mussed, but I do say no more than 10 to 20 million killed, tops.
We got the populace brainwashed, all in the state of shock. We got the military industrial complex moves wide over your block. And if you happen to become aware, we don't particularly care, cause we got the neutron bombs that instantly suck the oxygen right out of your air. Sheeple, you better reassess the situation. The plans are in order to restructure the population 80% at least. I hope you're paying attention to the beast who plan on enslaving you under the guise of peace. That word takes on new meaning. It don't mean what you're thinking. It means full spectrum dominance for real, and you won't be born unless you have a function to fulfill. A scientific dictatorship's more efficient, cause we ain't gotta waste effort to entertain your pathetic bitches. We just stick a chip in you, immerse yourself, soon you'll be able to Google Earth yourself. Real time with no computer, we will make humans super. It's the ultimate Trojan horse. Once you marry the beast, there ain't no divorce. We got the populace brainwashed, all in a state of shock. We got the military industrial complex, goon squad all in your block. And if you happen to become aware now, we don't particularly care now, cause we got the neutron bombs that instantly suck the oxygen right out of your air. There's a war going on hidden in plain view. It's mass murder, 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 and the same but you. They preparing for mass casualties, wild but true. Doomsday seeds owned by Rothschild and crew. So when the manufacturing famine happened and they start to ration off rice at unreasonable prices, the people start to smash and grabbing. Monsanto conveniently step in to save the day. Organic seeds I take away, for GMO I make you pay. My actions are equivalent to raping nuns. I'm training foreign troops how to take your guns. We don't suffer from PTSD, we give it away for free. War is ugly, we make it fun. Line up accordingly for your shot. Your vaccine's mandatory, you don't want to get popped. We gotta set a precedent, accordingly you'll be shot. Although it's not a law, we keep you in awe with a Glock pointed at you, cause we got the populace brainwashed, all in a state of shock. We got the military industrial complex, goon squad all on your block. And if you happen to become aware now, we don't particularly care now, cause we got the neutron bombs that instantly suck the oxygen right out of your air now.
us were told in private conversations that if we voted...
As one door closes, another opens, so they say. My journey moves from cross-country to a standstill where I sit in prison for 8 hours a day. My freedom stripped, every minute is locked underneath the watchful glare of Big Brother, cloned in the millions in several shapes and forms. Cameras in every corner of the street, cameras on every part of public to private transport. To keep you safe, they say, but we all know why. I feel like cold calling down the street to answer some questions of mine. Imagine I'd only get a deadline, begging for the day the underground opens a free line so everything that was yours was mine, in an equality sense. I paint grim pictures of life because our society moves in a negative motion in certain situations which, in my eyes, reflect a movement towards the way in which 1984 by George Orwell depicts society 40 years ahead of its time. Businesses of large employment and size due to its multinational ability keep us locked in modern-day workhouse frames, pigeonholing our sheer existence, making us become numbers, but not in a numerical sense, but in the sense that we all resemble the same meaning, which is the meaning of being the same, a commodity, something which exists but has no thought of its own, something which when looked at is defined purely on the visual appearance to understand the value of that object, something which misrepresents the human race. In fact, this perception and cruel intervention by high powers and forces creates a new breed of predator which sits on top of the food chain above human beings themselves, creating a superior power which determines our future, health, lifestyles, thoughts and actions, and most of all power. Humans are no longer the most efficient form of living mammal. We are now underneath something which utilises our current knowledge and limits it from further education by controlling what is taught to us through the media, schools, politics and false evidence of events which supposedly happen. And I think we all know the kind of events I'm talking about, from Neil Armstrong landing on the moon to shooting of Kennedy, to the death of our most inspirational icons, to the blowing up of other countries down to our own country's so-called terrorism.
You ever heard that phrase, everyone knows that, mate? Well, why does everyone know that? Well, it's because this system is controlled by what I call repeaters. They're people in the situations of power and influence who just repeat what someone else tells them. A doctor is repeating what they were told at medical school and what the drug companies tell them. You've got teachers who repeat what they learned in their exams and what they learned at teacher training college, and they repeat that to the next generation. And the great repeaters are what pass for journalists. This is that area outside Parliament where they stand there doing their pieces to camera telling people what's going on. Here we have the crews waiting for the journalists to come across from Westminster and stand there and tell them what's happening in the world. The fact is, they don't know what's happening. They know nothing. So, this is what they should be saying if they were telling the truth. Now over to Westminster for the latest news from David Icke. Thank you, you. Well, I haven't got a clue what's going on. I tell you what my job is, right? I wear a dark suit, not normally, but, you know, I'm playing here. And I come over from there, and I tell you what they've told me is going on. And I deliver it as if I know what's going on, and it's really true. I've got a clue if it's true. But they tell me, and they wouldn't lie, would they? Would Tony Blair lie about what's really happening? Would George Bush, please? I'm a journalist, trust me. And so, what we call news, what you get paid a lot of money for reading Autocue about, is merely propaganda that they have told me and I tell you. David Icke, BBC, ITN, CNN, CBS, Sky News, Westminster.